This pink candle is the light of the shepherds. On the third day in Advent, we remember the shepherds. Out they were, standing in the fields, doing their work, all around Bethlehem, taking care of the animals, taking care of the sheep. It was hard to work like that. Out in the fields, no matter the weather, cold, hot, windy, rainy. This night, they were trying to stay awake, maybe like Joseph and Mary too as they traveled. This night, they were trying to stay awake so they could protect their sheep from wild animals, from wolves, other things that might try to hurt them. They were trying to stay awake and trying to stay awake. But it's hard to stay awake late at night, especially when you're tired. But suddenly, something amazing happened. Suddenly there was a big light in the sky, so bright that it hurt their eyes. They probably shielded their eyes from the light. So bright. What was it? Let's go with the prophets. Let's go with the Holy Family. Let's go with the shepherds and all the others. Joining the angels, joining the Magi. Let's go with them to make this journey. It wasn't just then. We make that journey today. We make that journey now. We're getting ready together all over again. Getting ready for Christmas. Now we know that prophets are those people who come so close to God, and God comes so close to them that they know what is most important. And we know that they pointed the way to Bethlehem. We already know that, but it's still part of the mystery. They didn't know exactly what was going to happen there, but they knew that this was the place. And they were afraid. They didn't know. Mother Mary, Father Joseph, they were probably afraid too. They didn't really know what was going to happen. Walking through the night on a dark road, about to have a baby. The shepherds too. They were startled, surprised, afraid, because there was this big light in the middle of the dark, out of nowhere. Complete surprise to them. Their hearts were beating so loudly. Imagine when you're startled or afraid or surprised and your heart just starts beating. You can hear it all over you in your ears. Sometimes you can feel your heart beating in your stomach. Well, when they could hear something besides their own hearts, they thought they heard singing in the sky. It's like the light was singing to them. But that also scared them until they heard the words of the song. Because it was angels singing, friends. It was nothing to be afraid of. They were angels. God's messengers were singing, "Do not be afraid." Now, angels often say that because people are usually afraid when they see an angel. It's scary to see a messenger of God. It startles you. It's so big and wonderful, you don't really know what to do. Well, the angels were singing, and it sounded something like this. They said, "Don't be afraid. We bring you tidings of great joy, peace on earth, and goodwill to everyone. Listen," they said, "a child is born, a baby. Go, hurry, run to Bethlehem. Hurry, hurry, hurry. Run to Bethlehem and see this baby. See the child who will change everything. Go now, hurry." The angels told them, "Go." So what do you think the shepherds did? They went. that light. Something different about it. Have you figured it out yet? These are purple, but this one is pink. It's like the color of a rose or a soft flower. This reminds us of that warm, heartfelt feeling, the beauty, the softness of what the angels were saying. It helps us remember that even if it is very serious to get ready and come close to the mystery of Jesus and the mystery of Christmas, you don't always have to be so serious. The pink is a little bit less serious than the purple, a little softer version of that serious color. It's not all serious. We have a lot of fun to be had. We get to celebrate a birthday. We get to celebrate Jesus. So the pink reminds us that not everything is quite so serious as that dark purple. Let's enjoy that light. Prophets, the Holy Family, the shepherds. Teachers at this point, you would then, not to be a broken record, but you would go through the kind of ritual of taking away the light, seeing it change, turning off the overhead lights if you feel comfortable, praying with them and setting them to enjoy worship. After worship, gathering them back up. I usually use a little cue for them. I sing Jesus Loves Me 3 times, and it really seems to help them kind of finalize what they're working on. I usually give them a heads up. I'm going to sing 3 times, and by the end of the 3rd song, we should be all finished. You could also sing whatever song you'd prefer. You could even sing a Christmas song if you want, to just give them a cue that it's time to start cleaning up. After they've cleaned up, then you'd excuse me, you'd read again from the gospel story in the Jesus Storybook Bible, taking a moment just to kind of revisit the stories that have come before. The story of the shepherds is a great story because it really does just highlight the magnificence of what happened and how the angel came to speak to the shepherds. And it talks a lot about how unique the shepherds were in that nobody expected them to be a part of God's story. Nobody expected them to be messengers of the rescue plan. And so it's a beautiful way of bridging that gap between, the prophets, the son and or the mother of Jesus, and then just talking about regular old people and how they were even invited in to this important story. So I definitely recommend, especially for the story of the shepherds, to read from the Jesus Storybook Bible. And then you'd go through that prayer time and feast, and that would be the end of week 3. Now I'm going to do week 4. So here we go. Excuse me. All right, friends, so here we go again. We've laid back out now 3 weeks, making this the 4th. We've reminded ourselves about the light of the prophets. We've reminded ourselves about the light of the Holy Family. We've reminded ourselves about the light of the shepherds, 2 purples and 1 pink candle. And now we are here in the 4th week of Advent. Christmas is so close. Christmas is right around the corner. My goodness, something incredible is going to happen in Bethlehem. Not just then, but now. What do you notice about this card? There are 4 candles now. There we go. The light of the prophets, the light of the family, the light of the shepherds, and now, today, we get to talk about the light of the wise men, or the magi, you might have heard them called. Look at all that light. Remember the prophets pointing the way to Bethlehem? Remember the Holy Family traveling on that long road to Bethlehem? They must have been the last people there. We know they probably were because there weren't any places left to sleep. Shepherds, startled, amazed, and surprised, out in the fields as the angels told them, Go right away. Something's happening. You need to see this baby. You need to be part of this rescue plan. On the fourth Sunday of Advent, today, we remember the three kings, or the magi, or the wise men. Those are all different words for the same part of the story. Now, these important people, these three wise men who knew so very much and had learned about things from as far back as were written down and observed the world as scientists and historians, these three people came from far in the east. I wonder if you know of some places very far in the east. They probably had different names then. But the east is a faraway place, and you'd have to travel quite a ways to get to Bethlehem. They were wise, and so wise, even, that people thought they were magic. In fact, we even get our word magic. The word magic comes from the name that they were called in their own language. Magi. Magic, magi. Of all the things that they knew the most about the stars in the sky. They knew where each star was supposed to be at each time of year. They knew where the star should be in the winter. They knew where the star should be in the summer. And they would tell people when it was time to plant their crops, or take a trip to the ocean in a boat, or cross the high mountain passes when the snow wasn't too deep. They shared a lot with the people because they knew a lot more than most people. But as they looked up at the stars, and as they studied their charts and paid attention to the world around them, they suddenly saw a wild star, a new star. It wasn't on any of their maps. It wasn't on any of their charts, all the things they'd learned about for so long. This one wasn't on there. It just went where it wanted to go. It didn't seem to follow a pattern like the others. It didn't stay put the way they wanted it to. So they decided to follow the wild star and see where it was going and what it wanted to show them. So they followed it all the way to Bethlehem. Are you surprised? Are you surprised that that wild star traveled to Bethlehem? I think they were surprised. They had to come from so far away to follow that star that, of course, they got there way after the baby was born. They are always late, it seems. Every year, they are late. In fact, we don't usually even celebrate these important people until January 6th, after Christmas, because we remember that they came after Jesus was born. But we're going to remember them today anyway, because just like us, they're also on their way to Bethlehem. They're part of this story. They're part of God's story.